Good evening, everyone. We are reading Robert Greene's The Daily Law. Today is December the 11th, and the title is The Child's Sense of Scale. If we were honest with ourselves, many of us would have to admit to feeling a certain flatness in our experience. So much seems the same, and there is little to surprise us. Something is missing in our lives, but it is hard to pinpoint what it is. Feeling restless, we travel, have a love affair, change jobs, anything to shake us up. But when the novelty wears off, the flatness returns. Instead of looking for any possible specific causes of the problem, let us try to attack it from another, more global angle. Perhaps the source lies in the overall sense of scale we develop as adults. And to understand the role this plays in our emotional states, we have to look back to our own childhood, when our perspective was much different. The fundamental reality of childhood was our smallness and weakness in comparison to almost everything around us. We were surrounded by objects and forces that dwarfed us in size and power: trees, buildings, hills, and mountains, the ocean, storms, the social life of adults. This feeling of smallness sparked intense curiosity about this world. By trying to understand the world around us, in some way we could bring it down to size and make it less frightening. And because we were so small in a world of such immense, everything we saw seemed novel, marvelous, and full of mystery. Daily Law. Try to encounter the world today with the sense of scale you had as a child. Law of the Sublime. Number one, expand the mind to its furthest reaches, the cosmic sublime. So, as a child, I remember looking, on my level. So, I wasn't into the adult conversations because they weren't on my level. I remember, like, if it wasn't a little kid in front of me or something that was small, I really didn't pay attention to the things above me. So I think that's kind of what he's trying to put us into perspective with. Stay on our level as far as like not really like letting ourselves get overwhelmed, because yes, the world is big, but if we break it down to our own level and try to just not think too hard about what's going on and the bigger scale. So what I try to do, and this helps me a lot. So I talk about how I don't watch the news. I really don't ever know what's going on outside of my little box that's in front of me. But I do that because I want to know what's going on outside of this. Because if it's not happening right in front of me, then it's not really happening in my mind. So I kind of have done the same child sense of scaling it down to I can't worry about the problems of the whole world. And maybe it's a little selfish, but sometimes we got to be selfish with ourself, be self-absorbed a little bit in our own world, what's going on. I think that's a big problem with, politics. Is they so worried about what's going on in other countries, but, what about what's going on in our own country? So I scale it down for me. I can't think about what they got going on and what they're not doing and whatever's going on and what happened to people outside of this state right here where I'm at locally. Because if I worry about that, I'll be stressed the fuck out all the time. And I'm not going to do that to myself. Y'all have a good night. Sorry me to be so blunt. And we'll do it again tomorrow. Good night.